this preseason, and the rest of the NFL's taken notice. Tony Romo said that Wilson is going to be in the discussion as one of the league's top 3 to 5 quarterbacks very quickly, and even said the rookie has a Patrick Mahomes-like potential. So, Shannon, are you seeing what Romo is seeing?
Boy, that's a very high bar to reach, Skip. Patrick Mahomes we've never seen a quarterback ascend quite as high as Patrick Mahomes at such a young age, and he still seems to be ascending. But I will concede this, Skip. This kid is extremely arm talented.
Yep.
He can make throws from different platforms. He feels very, very comfortable getting outside of the pocket, rolling left, rolling right. He can open his hips when he's rolling left, open his hip, throw back. He has it. He has the goods, Skip.
Yep.
The question is, are they going to continue to surround him with talent? Tevin Coleman's that running back. The thing with Tevin Coleman, he's a good running back, but he can't stay healthy. I like Corey Davis. I like Elijah Moore, the rookie that they taken.
Yep.
They spent the last 2 first-round picks on offensive linemen, so they seem to be surrounding him with an offensive line that can protect him and weapons, because that's what Patrick Mahomes had. Kelsey, Tyreek, they had Sammy Watkins, Mecole Hardman, Pringle. They got guys that can help Patrick Mahomes, and that's what this kid's going to need. Mm-hmm. Patrick Mahomes' stratosphere, I don't know about all that, Skip, but I will concede this. After watching him, he's a lot better than I thought what I saw at BYU, Skip. Mm-hmm. This kid has the potential to be really, really good.
Mm-hmm. I hear you. I basically agree with you. But I warn you about Tony Romo. He has a great eye for talent, but sometimes he sees a little too much of himself in a young player. And I believe he's seeing himself in
this kid,
Zach Wilson. Mm-hmm. They both have those point guard feet because Tony can really play basketball. Mm-hmm. And he operated in the pocket like a point guard. He couldn't run down the field if he escaped. And I don't think this kid is any speed demon.
Right.
But he has athletic feet, basketball-type quickness feet to escape out of the pocket and in and around the pocket.
Right.
And then he does have a whip of an arm.
Yes.
And it reminds me already, I'm going to go in reverse, but Spencer Rattler, who's the Heisman favorite for my Oklahoma Sooners, he's got one of those arms too. It's just one of those sort of rubbery arms, and it's just a whip. And it's what you call arm talent, where he can whip it, wing it from any sort of place and time, where he can do it on the move, he can do it off balance, off platform, and still be fairly on target with it so far. I like his demeanor because he's got cocky confidence in a good way. You can just see it. He exudes it. He's not afraid. He looks like he's about 10 years old, but he plays mature football so far. My issue is that just like Tony Romo, he will try things he should not try. And I saw it too much at BYU, and then we both watched the one poor game that he played because of COVID, they got thrown into a neutral site game in South Carolina against Coastal. It was just weird. It was just like everything was a little off, and he was a little off the whole game. And their season got blown up and they lost. And it was kind of an ugly afternoon for him. But to the Jets' credit, they never wavered.
No.
This is their guy. And, remember when Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch trade up to 3, I'm saying, are you sure? Are you sure what you're going to get? Because are you sure that they're not going to take who you want?
And that's Skip, and I was saying is, look, for them to move up there, to move up to only 3, they had to be 100% for certain. Trevor Lawrence was going 1, and this kid was going 2. Because why else would you do that?
You better be dead sure, because you're betting your whole future.
You bet your whole future. Okay. Or they felt that, you know what, if they take Trey Lance, we'll take Zach Wilson.
Okay.
But Skip, look, I am impressed. I am impressed. And it might be a situation where if I'm somebody defending Patrick Mahomes, I'm going to keep him in the pocket. I'd rather Patrick Mahomes throw the ball from the pocket, Skip, than have him get outside, because that's where he does a lot of his work at.
Totally agree.
He gets outside left or right. He's killing people.
Well, they will figure this out about him, and they will force him to stay in the pocket. Yes. And if he starts to try to force his way out of the pocket, bad things will start to happen. And if he starts forcing throws into much different coverage than he has seen in the preseason, he will get in trouble.
Right.
And then that cocky confidence will fade to the point of being shattered pretty quickly.
Right.
I got to see how he can stand up to playing technically sound football. In football, listen, but we're going to talk about Romo in a minute because Jerry's making the case he should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Well, I know Tony Romo inside and out. He could have great games and he could do things that would astound you at how wrong they were.
Right.
Because that was his life.
Right.
Well, is that, once he's blessed Zach Wilson, does that mean Zach will take that career path where he will occasionally do Romo-esque things that'll make Jets fans say, I don't know where that came from?
Well, you can't do that because you won't win a championship with a guy because he'll make the mistake at the most inopportune of times. All turnovers aren't created equal. And that was Tony's biggest problem, is that a turnover in the first quarter weighs a little less than a turnover in the fourth quarter. And that's what Tony was good at. It was those turnovers that, like, damn, we driving.
Okay.
And it would end the drive.
You got that right. I lived through it, and I hate to even remember.
What my favorite was against the Broncos.
Oh, it was unbelievable. We're going to talk about it and show it in a little bit. But here's the point about these quarterbacks.
Okay.
What are there, 5 taken in the top 15? History would scream at you, at least one will fail. It's just the way it goes, right?
Yeah.
At least one, maybe 2 will not be what you think right now.
Right.
Because right now, 4 of the 5 look spectacular.
Yes.
Starting with Mac Jones, obviously. Let's go to the top. Trevor against my Cowboys playing 2s and 3s.
Look good.
Oh, he looked all world. He looked like he was in playoff form, like he was a 10-year veteran getting ready for the playoffs. And then we obviously go to Justin Fields, who's had spectacular moments. He's been a little hit and miss on his accuracy, but spectacular moments, and I think he should be starting over Andy Dalton. The kid I love the most is Trey Lance, and he's struggled the most.
Right.
But it looks like he's going to share some snaps with Jimmy Garoppolo. Well, you called Mac the readiest to play. Well, Trey was by far the unreadiest to play as far as experience. He started for 1 year at North Dakota State, and then 1 game through the COVID year last year. So he just hadn't played a lot of football.
But we go back and look at, let's say, the last 20 years, Skip, the quarterbacks that's had success. What have they had early on? Running games. We look at Peyton Manning and say, well, he threw those turnovers. He had Hall of Famer Marshall Faulk in his backfield. Tom Brady, they ran the football the first several years. You look at Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, he had LaDainian Tomlinson. So you look at Ben Roethlisberger, what did he have? You look at Eli Manning, what did he have? You got to look at, and so you know what? Let's rely on the running game and not ask him to just throw. Patrick Mahomes is an anomaly, Skip, because they've really never had that 1,200-1,300-yard rusher, and he came into the league and Andy says, look, we turn it over to you. Do what you do.
Okay, but it's what Andy does.
You're right. But that's the thing, Skip. So to say that's a really high bar that says, you know what? This kid has, okay, arm talent, but I'm gonna pump the brakes on that. I want to see a couple of years because he has the talent, he has the arm talent. But let's see if they've done a good enough job of putting pieces around him.
Okay, I'd like to just see a couple of games.
Preseason, real game, real bullets.
All right, well, let's talk some more Lake.